Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly chat show where we discuss whatever topics we feel like discussing about. Sometimes it's a little heavy, sometimes it's a little light. Today, I have a feeling it might end up being a little heavy. I am your host, Uncle Silver, aka Uncle Greg, aka Silver or Greg, or whatever you feel like calling me. And I welcome you, my co-host, the chat, who I love to have these discussions with, who I love to interact with, who I love to get their opinion on and to have their opinion on my opinion. So welcome, everybody. I hope you have had a great week so far. If you have not had a great week, then I'm sorry for your gray clouds. But again, welcome to The Silver Lining. That is the point of the name of the show. Finally in time for one of these from the start. Yes. Asastock, welcome. Minion, Mendez, Nightbot. Hello, Nightbot. Nightbot is here for all my streams. But yeah, Elements, Suave, Lady Foxheart, everybody who is here, aka Daddy. Lady Fox, I don't like the daddy thing. I never like that. I never like that I never like the whole call me daddy as a sexual thing because I don't know, it's just really weird. Hey, CT Scan, Tim Dragon Kid. I had an okay week. I had some sort of weird issues here and there. Nothing too serious, you know what I mean? Just a little lighthearted here and there. I think I almost cursed out like 3 or 4 people over the course of the week. Not even for getting attitude with me, but like going places and seeing them have attitude towards other people. And you know what I mean? Like I'm a big fan of when someone is berating an employee or they're giving an employee a hard time, another customer stepping in and saying, hey, they're just doing their job. Shut up or get out. You know, I love seeing, I've had customers do that for me. So I love seeing it happen. And I almost had to do it a couple of times this week, which feels is just very weird and it feels great. You know what I mean? Because I get to yell at somebody at a job and I'm not gonna get fired. Before we get started, I got a couple of pickups. If you watch my streams during the week, you saw already. I've been talking about wanting to play Uncharted 1 and 2, and I picked up Uncharted 1 and 2 for $3 a piece from the Goodwill store. I couldn't believe they actually had. It's funny when they always have the games that I'm actually looking for and that I'm actually interested in playing, because normally it's just a bunch of sports games that I really don't feel like collecting, and sports games that aren't worth the $3. You know what I mean? Madden games aren't worth the $3. They're worth $1, if even that. Wasn't able to show up last week, but this was finals week for me, so I'm done with the semester. Very nice. Uncharted should be fun to play. Is there Uncharted 1 final mix? Oh, hey, J-Punks. No, I'm sure there is, like Uncharted / Recharted. Some sort of Kingdom Hearts version of the game. Plus at Thieves End. So what is that? Drake's Fortune Among Thieves. Thieves End was the third one, right? They have the third one, but it doesn't have the cover, and I kind of don't want it without the cover. Like, I know I can get them cheap, but I can, you know, for $5, I'll wait and I'll get it for $5 with the cover on it. There's an Uncharted 4 PS4 collection. Yeah, I don't know PS4. Thieves End was 4. Okay. Hey, Devil's Cry. Where's my water? Oh, I left my water over there. I hate when I do that. I come in here and I'm all prepared and I got everything set up and everything's recording. Hey, Siberian Ninja. Everything's recording and everything is like, I'm happy that I succeeded in getting everything together, and then my water's right, like, it's like 6 feet over there and I don't want to get up and get it. All right. I'm hesitant to get into this because this is one of those topics that I don't know where it's going to go. And recently got Yakuza Kiwami in Final Fantasy 9 on PS4. Final Fantasy 9 on PS4? Getting into Yakuza series when I was a from the store. I'll hear the topic, but then I gotta run. My lighthearted topic was going to be talking about video game music and just basically going over stories of music that we really like, really stuck with us. But I want to get into the more serious topic, which is using video games as escapism. Is it all right? Are video games escapism? Is it okay? Is it not okay? How much is okay? How much is not okay? And this is a dangerous topic because the biggest danger of all is that the second you say X amount of time is okay, you immediately seem like you're offending anybody who plays more than that. There's a chance that they're going to take it personally. You know what I mean? And I don't. It's a slippery slope. There's a few areas we could delve. Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this Dragon Tim. Dragon Tim. Oh, I kind of like Dragon Tim. I'm just gonna say I like Dragon Kid. That's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, especially here because here is a big forum. You know what I mean? If I do a 10 to 15 minute video, it's sort of eh. If you do it here, I can discuss it with everybody and we can sort of get into it. Hang on one second here. Gaming as escapism. All right, I'm changing the title, so I think that's what I want to do. I want to get into the practice of changing the title. Like, I want to save the title for the show, and then I'll put it up on the chat, up on the title of the episode. Like escapism from what exactly? Life. Essentially, for the simplest explanation is escapism from life. You could break that down into specific things. You could actually just say, because there is actually an argument for using it as escapism just from other things. But I don't mind that. You know what I mean? Like the idea of you had a rough day, so you want to come home and you want to sit down and play some games. I'm okay with that. But if you're using video games as a way to escape most aspects of daily life, you know, everything from going to work and dealing with family to dealing with your own problems to, you know what I mean? If you I mean, well, that's dipping into part of the later conversation, which is how much gaming is okay and not okay. And I will add this disclaimer right now. This is all opinion. I should have something on the screen that flashes and says, this is all opinion. I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I am a guy that has played video games for a very, very long time. I am a guy that has dealt with multiple bouts of depression, occasional bouts of anxiety. I've had ups, I've had downs, I've had good jobs, I've had bad jobs. I've played video games through all of them. So that's all it is. This is basically just my assessment through my own personal experiences and experiences that I have seen from other people. It really depends on how much time you actually have and if you have responsibilities or not. That's kind of the point. That's kind of the point of all of this, because that is, you know, I think that opinions are fine as long as you don't offend mine. I say, you know what? A lot of the time with a lot of people, where there's the old line that says opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. I say that opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and a lot of people think that theirs is the only one that doesn't stink. You know what I mean? Greg induces many people with seizures. Opinions! You got your facts and opinions all mixed up. That's still my favorite line from the movie Inside Out. Here's how you gave me as an escape from reality can heavily depend on devotion of time of your life. Stress levels at the time and even mental issues. Spending 2 or 3 hours, depending on the game, can be a soother or an aggravation. That's another point that I want to get into. A soother or an aggravation. When you start to obsess over it and make it the only thing you talk about is like smoking. You're adding another stressor at that point. As my opinion, as a psychologist with a bachelor's degree, I think as long as it doesn't interfere with life duties such as job, taxes, health, if you're not a YouTuber. So the first thing I want to get out of the way, I don't think that this is an issue at all, is that I'm okay with gaming as an escape from daily life, or as a reprieve from daily life. I think that's my problem. I think I am reluctant to use the word escape. Escape sort of has this negative connotation to it, like you're running from something. You know what I mean? It has this it immediately says, this thing is horrible, so I need to run away from it. And that's not always the case. A lot of the time, when it comes to playing a video game to de-stress after a long day or something like that, and that you like to do that I don't know if that's escapism. That is de-stressing. That is relaxing. That's no different than coming home and watching TV, going out after work and having a few drinks, going out and playing a game of basketball or some sport or something like that. There's nothing wrong with going out and de-stressing. There's nothing wrong with coming home and de-stressing. That is fine. That's why I'm not a huge fan of the term escapism, but I use it because that's usually what people talk about. My viewer count is going all over the place, and I have no idea what's happening. I'm hoping that my stream health looks okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to try and keep up on chat because I have a feeling a lot of people are going to have some serious opinions on this. I always view gaming as a means to promote violence. When I was younger, I was bullied and harassed constantly by many people, didn't have a lot of friends, so I stayed home a lot and played video games, knowing that nobody would bother me and I could at least have some fun. Knowing that nobody would bother you, that's an interesting side to that, Sally. I'm going to remind me to come back to that, because knowing that no one's going to bother you is not entirely the case anymore with online gaming, especially online gaming when you've got headsets on. So we'll get back into that. What if you have no life duties? Mambo, if you have no life duties, you're probably dead. I got to imagine that there's no life out there that doesn't have some responsibility that needs to be handled. Somebody yelling at someone. No matter how many facts you bring, it's still your opinion. That's not true. There are facts. I suffer from extreme anxiety problems and have a fear of going into public. Yet sometimes gaming helps soothe my senses. Games as a sort of stress relief is okay. Yeah, games as a sort of stress relief is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The danger is when you get to escapism levels. When you do get to the point where they are trying to, and like you guys have said already, when you're starting to avoid responsibilities for gaming, that's clearly the bad line. That to me is the bad. When you're not paying your bills. First of all, when you're not paying your bills, that's stupid, because they're going to cut your electricity off and you won't be able to play video games. They're going to cut your Wi-Fi off, your internet off. You're not going to be able to play. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things that you're not going to be able to do when it comes to video games when you don't pay your bills. So that's a dumb thing to do. So that's clearly the opposite line. The problem is there are some middle grounds. We'll come back to the middle grounds. Video games can be used as escapism in a certain situation, but gaming, at least for me, is part of my life. I balance it with other activities in order to function. I say yes or no because it's soothes the mind of everyday things that happen. No, if you play too much and don't care for yourself, family, friends, responsibilities. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna jump to the bottom here. What happens when you're this is the middle area. This is the gray line that we're talking about here. What happens when you're meeting all your responsibilities? You're getting to work and you're doing a good job. You're showering and taking care of your body, and your house is clean. But you then shrug off any other activities specifically to game. You know, those people who we joke about and we say if they're not at work, they're at home playing a game. What happens when you start shrugging off other things that are also not mandatory and all you do is game? Are you now doing it too much? Because, like you said, who was it, Suave, that said that you balance it with other activities. What if after you meet your responsibilities, there are no other activities but gaming? Do you think that that is too far? Because somebody might say that, yeah, you need to do something else every once in a while, you know, and so that's where there's a line. That's where, you know, because, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to disagree that if you're not handling your responsibilities, you're playing games too much. I don't think anybody's going to say that you shouldn't be playing games at all if they are a good way for you to de-stress after a day. But what is the line of too much? All right, so we're going to go back. So no, things designed to piss you off. Darkest Dungeon and the Dark Souls games are two examples. I've been gaming less and less as the years have gone on, as I've been focusing on school more. If I'm not gaming during if I'm not gaming during free time, I use it as I'm overwhelmed and need a break. It's a minion, man. But when school ends, you'll go back to gaming. That's sort of the thing there. And again, that's where we're not talking about if you just don't have time to do it. You know what I mean? Because then you're meeting your responsibilities. Dark Souls is meant to piss you off. But that brings the point of muting. I mean, VR chat. I know some people are so obsessed with gaming that when they go into public or social media, they think that they're untouchable. No offense, but I don't see the point of this conversation. You can replace gaming with literally anything. Mambo, that's exactly the point of this conversation, because this conversation can be had about anything. That was the point that I was actually going to lead to later. The point is that this conversation can be had about anything. So the real topic is using anything as escapism. Although certain things alter it. You know what I mean? There are certain things. They're using work as escapism, for instance, is an alteration of it. Because now you're not doing something outside of work. You're just doing work more. But yeah, that was the point that I was trying to get to it. Like trying to avoid a neighbor's party. Saber Ninja, I will avoid every party I can. I don't like parties. I think at that point you just get bored of it anyway. Oh, if you did nothing else but game. Okay. That's the problem with video games, that people use it to escape and become, in a way or sense, addicted to it. Yeah, see, that's when we start getting into the... that's when you start getting into the addiction levels. That's when you start getting into that. Like a workaholic. Lady Foxheart, yeah, I would say like a workaholic. Like somebody who they sink themselves into their work because they think that is going to make them happy, and but the work thing actually leads into sort of the conversation you had brought up about games that drive you crazy. You know, games that rage. You guys were talking about like Dark Souls, which Dark Souls I think is just a frustrating game. But yeah, then there's games like, what is that, Trap Dungeon, where it's meant to frustrate you and it's meant to sort of troll you. And it's meant to piss you off. Like, it's funny to a point, but there are some people who start to get frustrated. It starts to become a frustrating part of their lives, and they start the salt. Splatoon, we see it in Splatoon and Overwatch all the time. The salt is flying, and they don't stop. It's not relaxing. Huge variety of things that could be done on a computer. Oh, wait, hold on. What was that? I consider that different. You're building, developing, coding skills. It's a different set of skills. Hey, Lizard. It's, you know what, Suave? It's interesting because, yeah, that's, you are kind of talking about computer addiction where, okay, you like to do something creative, but it is the same issue. It is the same thing, like Mambo said. This can be applied to anything. You know, people who, I like to build things. I knew a guy once who whenever you saw him, he was working on his house. There was always something for him to do in his house. He was fixing this, or he was changing that, or he was doing this, or he was doing that. And it's like, do you ever just stop and live in the house? Like, do you ever just enjoy everything? Like, he was at Home Depot 3 times a week because he was buying supplies to change things in the house. And it's like, are you getting to a point where it's a little excessive? Honestly, the only game I've been playing more hours than any JRPG game is DMC4. But I'm not addicted to playing games. Kind of wish I had the time though. You know what's funny? It's difficult to get addicted to anything when you don't have time to do it. I think that's a sort of weird. It's a sort of weird thing. Like, you could get addicted to it, but you'd probably just get bored of it if you had a lot of time, but you don't have enough time to find out. You know, it's a very weird sort of thing. People check their phones, PCs constantly. Netflix, emails, research, gaming. But that kind of lifestyle is almost a requirement for today's world. The research lifestyle? It's not a requirement, but it is something that I don't know if it's an addiction, but it can cross that line. You know, if you do this and check your phone, and then 10 seconds, 20 seconds later, that's where you're kind of, you're all right, dude. You know, if I washed my hands that often, you would assume that something was going on. My question is, what signal do you need to see where your gaming addiction, especially if you're doing it competitively, goes to your head and become, oh, okay. What signal do you need to see where your gaming addiction, especially if you're doing it competitively, goes to your head and you become, that could be a problem. Again, that could be a problem anywhere. I think that is, and Dragon Kid, that's a competitive issue. That's a competitive issue. You know, sports are the same way. Anything where there is a competition aspect to it, that's the same thing where you get to this. You could potentially get to this level where narcissism and egotism are dominating you and dominating your activity. You know, it's not a question of having fun. You have to be the best. I have to do that if I'm getting my butt kicked. If I lose a third of my squadron, I'm turning it off and doing something else. Oh, hey, Aqua Sakura. Yeah, I'm having some weird issues here. For some reason, it just like refreshed my chat for some reason. Game's like over a week. I switch it up when I'm sitting outside working on school. Okay. It depends on the context of the environment. I don't even own a cell phone. Camera delay. Is there a camera delay? I'm not seeing a camera delay. What I feel like is JRPGs and multiplayer games are the most addicting genre. I could be wrong. Yeah, you know what? They might be the most addicting to you. I know a lot of J-Punks. I know a lot of people who play those games and or have tried to play those games and they just don't like it. It's not addicting at all. It is off-putting, if anything else. Comes to what is too much. There's what you think is too much for yourself and what you think is too much when looking at other people. Okay, yeah. Not doing drugs, doing drugs, you most likely return to the original spot. Okay. It's really hard to get addicted to. All that is needed is something that you wanted to happen. Okay. I'm trying to like blast through them here. Damn tablet. Audio is a little behind. Definitely not 3 seconds. Oh, okay. Hang on. No, not that one. No, why? Oh, not the work box. There we go. Hang on. Activate. Yay. Okay. No, I think was that worse or better? That looks okay. No, that looks fine. I get addicted, but only for a maximum of 2 weeks. Then I could go cold turkey because I'm immediately like, yeah, I don't want this anymore. Last time I extensively played a video game was last week's Thursday, and Thursday with the Bloodborne strip. streaming's a little different. Streaming's a little different because streaming is kind of like work. You know, for a lot of us, it's, you know, I'm starting to get into that point where, and there are a lot of people who are getting into that point where streaming is more work for more like work. You know what I mean? They do it for 8 hours a day. And it's not weird because that's what they're doing for work. They're trying to earn an income. Unhealthy gaming, I'd say to people who go for 100% all achievements in a game, even though they find it miserable. Mambo, that sort of touches on the point earlier. You know, when the game is not fun anymore, when you're screaming, when your stress levels are going up, and you are unhappy playing the game, and you keep playing the game, is that a signal of a problem? You know what I mean? That's when you start getting into those things. What if you stream as a habit? Basically like I do. I stream as a habit. Or as a hobby, I would say. Yeah, I how do you mean stream as a habit? Because I stream as like a hobby. Is it possible that the idea of gaming as an escapism from reality makes your stress levels worse? It could be because it could be because when you game, and then again, that actually speaks to the kind of games that you play. When you play calming, relaxing games, you know, when you play Animal Crossing or something like that, Stardew Valley, when you play something like that, that's usually considered relaxing. But if you relax with a stressful game of Overwatch, is that relaxing? Is that de-stressing? You know, so yeah, in a way, it kind of relies on what game you're playing. Suave, I saw. We'll get to that in a second. Hold on. If you stream as a hobby, I think that it's still the same problem. I think it's still the same conversation, because this applies to anything. If you want to play sports all day, you know what I mean. If you want to build model trains, if you want to do any of that, where is there a line? Is there a line other than responsibility? I think, like I said, I think responsibilities is the line. So I think that's fair to say. But is there another line? Suave, go ahead with your story. I'm gonna just try and get it all in one chunk, and then that way I can read it all at once, or it's as small a chunk as you can, or as few chunks as you can. Quite honestly, I do more watching of video games than playing them. Which elements? That's a big thing that's coming up now. But it's been coming up for a while. But collecting them is more of a thing for me than playing. But I do enjoy the worlds I watch. Yeah, that's a big thing where a lot of it is experiencing the game, and now you can do that through watching other people. So people do that to de-stress. I can see that it depends on the game and how the person gets when playing. One person can find a fighting game stressful and frustrating. Another can find it soothing. And you know what, Minnow Man? The same person can find the same game multiple ways. I have times where I play Splatoon 2, and when I'm losing, I'm like, all right, you know, that's what happened, man. And then I have times when I'm losing, and I'm, like I always say, the salt is flying. With anything screen related, you know you're gone too far when your eyes get dry and twitchy. Mambo, yeah. You know why, Mambo? You put the smiley face, but you know what? When your health starts to become affected, there's a clear line. You know, there's those people. What was the one guy who streamed for 24 hours straight and never got up? And then when he got up, like a blood clot formed and detached, and he had a heart attack and died. This was last year, I think. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. That's definitely going to affect his future gaming. Sorry to sound insensitive, but it is an issue. You know, the fact that his medical situation was attacked. You know, that's a weird way to put it, but affected. You know, it's a clear line. If anything, is people rage when playing Mario Kart. I find it relaxing. So I have one specific story. My first relationship was with a girl in Sweden named Emma. Jesus. After a few months, things went bad and we broke up. In order to cope with that, I decided to focus on a Let's Play of 100%ing Mario Sunshine. Because of it, I learned to really appreciate the bright, happy mood sunshine gives you. And after 2-3 weeks, I was over my heartbreak and appreciate sunshine a lot. Now you have a very positive memory tied to that game, which is, unfortunately, you also have a negative memory tied to that game, but you have a positive outlook tied to that game. That's very interesting. That is actually it's an interesting aspect of it, to, as opposed to gaming or a hobby to escape life in general, you use it to escape a specific event. Oh, 5 bits. Hey, homecoming, how you doing? I was 2 generations behind console-wise when I got Doom PS4. In that game, the stress and it making me shout at the enemies gave me an adrenaline rush. I don't know why, but some people like that, Dr. Juice. Some people like the adrenaline that you get from that. Like horror movies and stuff. Horror movies, horror video games. They like the rush and the thrill that you get from being scared. I'm not a huge fan of it. I never really have been. So that's why I don't like horror movies. I don't like horror video games. I just don't like the stress that comes from me. The stress that comes to me from it. The blood clot thing scares shit out of me. If I go to bed with the idea that I sat too much. And you'll see me, I'll move around in my seat here. I'll get up and I'll walk around if I'm streaming for a long time. There was that one day we did the 6-hour stream and I got up a couple of times because it terrifies me. Educates the chillins. The positive outweighs the negative with that game. Me too, Greg. Hard. Yeah, hard is a little too stressful for me. Sadly, the opposite could be said. I had numerous things happen to me at similar time during playing or watching a game, and it can scare me, especially before bed. Okay. I mean, the news scares me before I go to bed. So depending on what you're talking about as far as being scared, even some of that, like, I don't like this. Is the chat broke? No, chat looks like it's working fine on my end. Some people like the jump scare. I hate the jump scares. I think the jump scares are bad. The psychological fear, the one that sort of messes with your head. I'm actually okay with some of that. Like Silent Hill, I'm fine with Silent Hill. Silent Hill is Silent Hill doesn't have, for me, I don't remember a whole lot of jump scares with Silent Hill. What I remember is a lot of the atmosphere scaring the hell out of me, and something happens and that scares me. Like how many times did I almost or did in Silent Hill 2 shoot what's her name in the face because I was scared of the environment, and I turned around and my flashlight hit her right in the face, and it was almost like she jumped out in front of me. Hell, I killed in Skyrim, I killed, what's her name, Lydia? She's the one that follows you. She's one of the ones that follows you. I think it was her. I killed her a few times because she came out of nowhere. 2 messages were eaten. Uh-oh. Jump scares are cheap on it. Yeah, it's cheap fun. You know what I mean? I think good time jump scare is golden. Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness was a game that to me was sort of psychological in that sense. Where you was trying to, although the best feature of it, which is when your health is low and your sanity meter it messes with your head, you have to be doing bad at the game for it to happen. So I don't really like that aspect of it, but I got a kick out of those. Massively executed jump scares, one I can appreciate. See, I don't like jump scares. Horror is weird for me. I hate movies and all that, but I'm not against playing horror games in the future. For example, I'm typically a wuss, but I'm all for playing Resident Evil 7. Minnow, I think that comes from, or Minion. I keep saying Minnow. I think that comes from the interactivity of it. Rather than just watching something happen, you control what happens. When you walk into a room and expect to be scared, you walk into that room because you're ready to walk into that room. So you feel like you have some control over it. Booga booga, Mambo. I told you, don't scare me. Well, yeah, I'm okay, or at least can enjoy the atmosphere and psychological horror of horror games. I was talking more about scary things exterior to the game. Oh, yeah, okay. But Eternal Darkness had one jump scare. The scene with the bathtub, okay. I really like that one because it was in such I mean, Silent Hill one had not really a jump scare, but it was the thing with the locker, and then like the cat jumps out, but then later on another locker, like a body falls out of it, and that was kind of a jump scare. Like that was the sort of the oh, something happened, and it scared the hell out of me. Why hot weather is less comfortable. I would have to restrain myself from jump scares. I am one of the people who punches as a reflex, which, you know, Lady Foxheart, is why I don't like haunted houses. Something pops out, I freak out and swing a punch. Most of the time I have to restrain myself. Yeah, that I don't like haunted houses and stuff like that, because if it's in a Halloween scenario and I have a feeling that it's like the hallway where something's going to jump out at you, I have on multiple occasions yelled down the hallway, I punch when I get scared. So if you're going to jump out at me, don't do it or I'm going to hit you. And I don't mean to, but I kind of mean to. In that sense, the jump scare in Eternal Darkness is fantastic. Overusing jump scares is cheap. Five Nights at Freddy's. Using one just the right placement can make a memorable experience. Yeah, I think that's why I like Silent Hill, because it had that one jump scare and that was really it. Theme parks, yeah, spoopy fests where people pay to scare you, like Fright Fest. Yeah, those are those situations where they're paid to jump out and scare you, and it's like, I'm gonna throw a punch, and everybody's gonna get pissed off, everybody's gonna get upset, and I'm gonna look at them and I'm gonna say, what did you expect was going to happen? You scare people all day. Somebody randomly is going to be the puncher. Like that gif where the guy pops out of the trash can and the dude just turns around and dumps. Like, yeah. I punched someone at a haunted house. Wasn't scared until the person who was perfectly blended in the dark screams at the top of her lungs, "Face meets fist." But yeah, I mean, even those, like, as these, you know, it's not that doesn't escape. That's not escapism. You know, like we're fine. I don't mind going off the original topic onto this. It's fine, but it's just like that doesn't make me feel better either. Like people who say like, oh, I'm gonna go home and relax with a nice horror game. Huh? No, that ain't. That's not working for me. You know, but then yeah, those are the people who they like those things because they like the rush that comes from it. And now let me ask you something for the guys out there, for everybody out there that really likes the horror stuff and the jump scare. They like to relax with a nice horror game. Is it the scare that you like, or is it the cool down after you're scared? You know what I mean? What is the rush that you get from it? I just like hearing the lore of FNAF lore. There's slightly related, but in food tech, I was making pizza and cutting something up, and some idiot classmate decides to try and steal some of my food. So out of reflex, I tried to swat it away, but of course I was holding a knife. I didn't harm him in any way. His own stupid fault. Yeah, it's a reflex. It's, you know, you go for it, and that's the fight or flight reflex. Some haunted houses and stuff like that, they count on the flight reflex. They count on you being scared. But for a lot of people, fight is the reflex, and their first thing that they're going to do is throw a punch or throw a kick or swing something, you know. And that's crazy. Like, it's not crazy that they do it, but it's just, could you imagine that's your reaction, and you try, and that's somebody's reaction, and you try and scare them. I like a jump scare when I'm not expecting it, but when the tension was still, when I'm not expecting it, but the tension was still nervous. If I expect a jump scare, the tension isn't there. Okay. Yeah, you need to, so Suave, you need to be in the scary setting and then have it happen. Maybe something to do with dopamine level, like how daredevils do those crazy stunts. Yeah, I wonder if it's if it is the cooldown. So I'm pretty sure I'll buy FNAF 2 just because that game looked fun and challenging. Do bird chocobos fly or fight? I don't know. I think some of them fight. We fought some in Final Fantasy 7. Oh no, they would actually run. I used to be terrified of System Shock 2's Shodan, but now I just find it relaxing. The creepy and distorted sounds. Yeah, sound for me is where you'll get me. You'll get me with sound. Like if I've got my headphones on, especially, and I'm watching something, the sound glitches out and stuff like that. DDLC was kind of like that. Would you say DDLC had nice jump scares? After a certain bit, I was unnerved. I can't say Siberian Ninja because I watched most of that game through the Game Grumps playthrough. It was, the jump scares were decent. I think that it would have had a lot more of an effect if I was sitting at home playing it with myself. There we go. I got it. I'd said it without sounding too creepy. DDLC is Doki Doki Literature Club. But there were moments where once I got past the point where when I decided to play it, once I got past the point where they had gotten, I was unnerved because I knew that anything could happen at this point. And I can tell you even now when I watch when I watch it, and I want to go back, and I haven't seen Natsuki's story. When I hear the music, I'm immediately unnerved because I know, like, now I tie that music to something creepy could just happen. The moment in DDLC is the best moment in the game. It was pretty intense. I remember standing there, mouth jaw dropped, thinking, "Is this what we're playing?" Doki Doki Honey Pop. I have to do Natsuki's story. Yeah, I'm on edge when I hear the music. I'm on edge because I could hear a sound glitch. I could hear something in my ear, flip out or something, and it's unnerving. And I didn't watch anything from Natsuki's story, so when I play it, I am going into that blind. All I know is that there's something bad about her house. So people started drawing Buff Suki, which I think is hilarious artwork. I can't hear that game the same way anymore. Okay, Stream Health's acting up a little bit. I can't hear that game the same way anymore. Tension really gets to me. And that's what it is. That's what it's all about. It's all about the tension. It's all about the atmosphere when it comes to those kind of games. That's why I will never relax with a Silent Hill game, because I can't relax. Another reason why PT is so good is screws your expectations. Well, PT, that was the Silent Hill demo that never happened, right? Or it was originally a Silent Hill demo. What was the story with PT? You walk the same hallway over and over, and in one of the loops, you suddenly look behind you. The monster in that game breaks your neck. Yeah, you see, that's... Ugh. Oh, was PT the one that had, like photorealistic graphics? I think I did see PT. Yeah, it's the same hallway over and over again, but then every once in a while there's more blood on the walls or something. Yeah, there's some weird buffering going on. Yeah, no, I've got some stream health issues. It's going up and down. I think it's my internet. I'm worried that my internet is starting to freak out, that my modem is starting to mess up a little bit. The Silent Hills demo. Yeah, it got removed, but it's the best horror game ever made. Yeah, I think I watched a video of that, and that's what it is, right? It's like a hallway, and it looks like a regular house, but it looks very it's sort of photorealistic. But then, like, you go through a door and you end up at the hallway again. But then it's slowly but surely, the more you do it, the hallway, like the hallway looks a little darker. It looks a little more decimated. At some point, like, scratches start appearing on the walls and stuff. I think that was the one that I watched. And yeah, you're thinking of the right game. Okay. I posted some Buff Suki in Discord. I love Buff Suki. If you guys are not familiar with Buff Suki, if you're not familiar with Doki Doki Literature Club, there's a character who, my understanding is that when you play through her story, you find out that some bad stuff is happening to her. So somebody started drawing her like with this real buff physique to protect herself. That was my understanding of what's going on with Buff Suki, but it makes me laugh every time I see it. And yeah, you're thinking of the right game. Buff Suki. Oh, yes. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good example of a game that, like, I can't play that game and de-stress. I can't play that game. I can't play Doki Doki Literature Club and escape from anything. It doesn't work. I'm on edge the entire time. The Jiren one I found ages ago. It's just okay. So Sally had it on. Oh, hey, Awesome Surge. Buff stuff. Oh, yeah, I horror games I just can't. And I can appreciate that other people can. That's the thing. That's always that's always something that I can appreciate. Other people can enjoy it. And I see it. And that's why I asked earlier. Yeah, that's an experience, not an escape. And you know what? Elements that actually that kind of loops back around. If you'll pardon me to loop back around, it does kind of loop around. Where is it an escape if it is just another experience? You know, if you say, oh, I'm gonna relax and de-stress by playing a game, playing an RPG, but the story and the action all keep you. They're just a different kind of work. Is it even relaxing? Well, I missed the start, so loop all you want. DDLC stresses me out. When I streamed it, it really bummed me out after each session. It didn't bum me out. That's the one thing, Lady Foxheart. It did not bum me out. And I think part of it is that I watched another playthrough of it. It didn't bum me out. I was just it twisted my brain to see what was happening, to try and figure out what was happening. Because I watched the Game Grumps playthrough of it, and I remember every episode. Especially there was an episode where he said that Aaron was told by Ross that the fact that he chose the robot voice was very nice. And I every time I watched a video, I was wondering what was happening, like what was going on. I was so sucked into the mystery of it all that I didn't have time to be depressed by what was happening. I get hyped whenever I play Duck Hunt. It's a different kind of relaxing. Watching DDLC was a hoot. Yes, playing it was quite stressful too. Papers, Please. I saw a thing for Papers, Please, and it looked interesting, but I didn't play through it. Like how you play Smash and all you want to do is hit things instead of someone. No, I usually want to hit people. I'm just not that good at it. Oh, the crappy just got to me hard. I refuse to see it. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think that's because it says in the beginning, you know, if you're disturbed by images like that, and it can, I think it could probably affect you really hard, especially if you're one of the people who watches it, who plays it, and then when something bad happens, that's when you stop. You know what I mean? Because that's when you start to, like, every time you end the play session, you're ending it with a bad memory. I want to play Papers, Please. CT, what about Luigi's Mansion? I saw you said Luigi's Mansion earlier. What about it? I don't know what I don't know what you're asking about Luigi's Mansion, other than, you know, it can be stressful. I don't. A lot of people seem to think that it's like a lot of fun. That game was interesting, but it really did take a toll on me mentally. Yeah, I think that's the problem with it. And people were asking about is it spooky or is it relaxing? I think it's a little silly. I think it has a couple of moments that can catch you off guard, but the only reason they catch you off guard is because the whole tone of the game is a little silly. You know, I get it that it's a ghost game, but the ghost looks silly. You've got a vacuum cleaner on your back. Like, the whole aspect of it is just silly. So anything that did scare you is because it felt mildly out of place. You know what I mean? Going back to the original topic, what What about seeing playing video games as a reward for getting stuff done, so that you can get whatever's on your mind done and relax? That's interesting as a sort of reward system. I like that. It's a fascinating concept. I worry that turns into a not a. I worry that it turns into more of a reward system, and it turns into pushing the button for pleasure. You know what I mean? You're when you see that as a treat, you could theoretically get to a point where you do more of it as your treat. You know, it's kind of like the kids who are restricted to one snack a day. When they finally get their chance to control how many snacks they get, they're out of control with it. You know what I mean? So I worry that to me is a danger. But I do like it as a concept. If you can control yourself to that, that's fine. If you can't, I could see it getting out of hand. Doing okay. I had to deal with a computer issue, but it's working now. There was this video I saw of 2 private investigators playing LA Noire. Now I want to see Immigration and Border Control play Papers, Please. Luigi's Mansion scared Ted as a kid. So he's like, well, as a kid, it's just different as a kid. As a kid, it's, I don't know. As a kid, there's more innocence there, which is easier to scare. It's been a rough week, but I'm okay. Well, De Niro, that's the point of the silver lining. It's the happy moment at the end of the week. Being out of control usually lasts a short while. People generally will get sick of something if they're subjected to some people. Suave, then there becomes the danger, again, like we said earlier, there becomes the danger of getting addicted in that short time. You know, there's the situation of you get bored of it, or there's the situation of you don't get bored of it and now it's all you want to do. There is a danger there. And I think that comes down to hey Rye, that's a personality trait. That to me is a personality trait that could be indicative of an issue that goes deeper than that. You know, I think people with addictive personalities will get addicted to anything. You know, they'll get, if they start playing gaming, they'll get addicted to gaming. I wonder if it's the addiction is to the positive feeling, you know, because and again, that's escapism. That is the heart of escapism. Whatever you're doing, you get addicted to the positive feeling that comes from it, and you do it to avoid any negative feelings, not realizing that sometimes it's a hard truth. But sometimes you got to kind of feel like crap. You got to feel like crap sometimes to appreciate the good stuff. I guess my problem is I don't have an addictive personality, so it's hard for me. I have an addictive personality. I will flat out tell you that I have an addictive personality. I am better at controlling it now than I used to be, but I have an addictive personality in the sense of I have 2 buttons. Completely obsessed and totally uninterested. Those are my buttons. That's where my switch is. One is completely obsessed. The other one is totally uninterested. That to me is to me, I see that as a sort of addiction, addictive personality, where I start doing this thing and I just want to keep doing it because it's new and it's awesome and it feels great. And then eventually that sort of winds down, and rather than have worked that into my life in a stable way, I move on to something else that really makes me happy. Yeah, I have those buttons too. Yeah, that to me is sort of an addictive personality, sort of, because I do move on to something else. I do control it. I don't spend all my money on the thing. You know, I haven't sold all my video games to go hiking, and then I'm going to sell all my hiking gear to play sports. You know what I mean? I'm not to that point. I have the thing that I love to do, and that's how I know I love it. This is going to sound a little cheesy and after school especially, I usually don't get along with too many people in the long term. Just because when we have too much contact, because it's fun at first, and then I start to get annoyed by them. I know that I feel like I start to get annoying to them. So I when I have too much contact with somebody for too long a period of time, I usually will drift apart from that person. That's how I know that I love my wife, because no matter what, I want her to still be in my life. There are people in my life that I have cut right out because they started to get annoying, and I started to get annoying to them, and it was over. That's how I know that she's the one, because no matter what, I want her there. I want to know that she's a part of my life. Video games are not the thing that I'm going to get bored of and then want to do later. You know what I mean? And then want to stop doing later. No matter what happens, I love that they're there for me. They were video games I have a long history with, very long history with. So I feel like they are an old friend that I can come back to. And I know that that's why I will call video games my passion before I'll call anything else my passion. Because I know that when all is said and done, I want to keep my video games in my life. Then you need to space yourself. Hydrated bot. I know, hydrated bot. My water's over there. Is your Switch with those two buttons upside down like the one at Johnny's new house? It might be, because I do get interested in some weird things. After a while, you started to resent them, which is kind of bad. I feel like I'm the annoying one. Lady Foxheart, I feel that way all the time. The second I walk into a room, I feel like I'm annoying people. I had this weird dream where two sister witches captured a long-haired silver queen to protect her from evil politics of her kingdom, since she was way too pure. Her future husband was frantically looking for her. The younger witch happily fed her buttered croissants. Ryan, what dream are you having? Hopefully this is not offensive, but do you think that shows in Splatoon 2? Despite liking the game, I played the game an extensive amount for a few days and stopped. Whereas you have a high rank and play many hours. I enjoy the competitive nature of Splatoon combined with the way the game is played. It's not just killing people. There is more going on to it than just that. That being said, I will go through large spans where I don't play it. I'll go through weeks and even months. Even with the Switch version. The Switch, there was a point where the Switch sat in the dock for a month at least, because I just wasn't playing it. I didn't feel like playing Splatoon anymore. But then it'll come back. And I don't know why that was offensive. I don't know why you would have thought that was offensive. But yeah, notice with Splatoon 2, yeah, I'll play it a lot. And now Splatoon 2 is one of those things where, because I'm into the competition aspect of it, I study it more. If I played a Madden game, I wouldn't give a damn if I win or lost, because I just don't care. You know, but with Splatoon 2, I'm into the game, so I want to get better at it for myself. I'm in the same boat, Greg. It's the same with my girlfriend. Yeah, I've heard a gag that says or a thing that says there's no better feeling than being liked by someone who hates everybody else. You know what I mean? And it's that sort of and that's how I know that I love her, because when I'm out in public, people just I hear the slightest thing off and I'm just completely annoyed. I get so annoyed so fast. I go from 0 to annoyed really quick. And that doesn't happen with her. We can sit there and have the goofiest conversations, and we can do stuff that pisses each other off. And at the end of the night, even if we're still not talking, if we're still sort of fighting, or we're still arguing, or rather we're just sort of not communicating to each other, we'll kiss goodnight and we'll go to sleep. You know what I mean? And that's just the way. And I'll wake up. I'll go to sleep knowing, and wake up knowing that I'm glad this person is still there. You're the kind of guy I love to sit down and have a beer with. I'll take that. I'll take that, Lady Foxheart. I always say, Lady Foxheart, in a game of F, marry, kill, be the one people want to marry. Strive to live your life to be the one that people want to marry. The one they want to F is the one they want to F and then be done with and go away, and the one you want to kill is obviously the annoying one. But a quick fix of the game over an extended period of time. Okay. I know I can get annoying. That's why I tell people when I first meet them, if I ever get annoying, just tell. What's the topic now? No, Siberian Ninja, we're kind of away from, we drifted hard away from that topic. But here is Splat Cat with the host, right as I was about to take a break. Thank you for the host. Looks like Nightbot is going for a wonder. Before I live by myself, video games were my medicine. I owe my life to video games. Black Aspie girl in the South. I was teased a lot during school. Eastern European girl, go ham on the Russians. All right, we are gonna take a quick break, just a minute or two, and right, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we will get into viewer topics. So when we come back, if you guys have anything you want to discuss, just post it in chat, and we will try and discuss it. So I will see you guys in maybe a minute or two.